What's going on, YouTube? Jarrell King here, multi-platinum music producer and music business coach. And in this video, I am going to give you the best tips that you can do starting today to completely and absolutely successfully ruin your music career before it ever even goes anywhere. All right, so let's just dive right in. The first thing that you can do to ruin your music career, like a pro, is to spend all of your money on studio time. Don't get me wrong. As an engineer and a music producer, I vouch for studio time like no other, and even have my own studio, so why would I not want to encourage people to book a studio? But a lot of musicians, especially in the rap space, tend to use the studio to create their songs from scratch, and I just don't think that's the best use of the time of being in the studio when it comes to the money that you're spending. That's one thing if you're going to a studio where they have cheap rates and you can get like 12 hours for like $100 with an engineer. But in the music industry, you get what you pay for. And if you are spending that little bit of money on the studio and the engineer, I wouldn't expect you to be getting the best out of your money, your sound quality, and out of the space. I don't think that the engineer is going to be that good, that qualified, or that experienced. And I don't think the equipment in the studio is going to be the type of equipment that you're going to be wanting to run your vocals through to actually put that song out and try to build a fan base off of. So the best thing that you can do in that situation is work on your songs at home, get them memorized, and then go to the studio and record as many songs as you can possibly record in that time that you have allocated to recording. On the flip side, you can also just record yourself at home, but then you will need the proper equipment. It's quality equipment and competitive equipment that allow your music to sound great. Now, if you don't know what equipment to use, then I'll put a link up here or up here so that you can watch my series on how to build out your home studio and the best equipment that you should use to do so, or at least consider using to do so. The second thing that you can do that'll be the best way for you to completely ruin your music career is you can never put out any of the songs that you record. I know so many musicians that create non-stop song after song, idea after idea, and those songs are sitting on their computer or on a hard drive somewhere, never being listened to, never being able to generate income from streams or any other ways that you monetize your content, never going on to be a song put in a TV show or a movie soundtrack or a show or anything like that. Nope, that amazing song is just sitting on the computer, not even being played by the artist. This right here is a problem. You want to release all of your music. This right here is a problem. You want to release all of your music if that was your intention of making it to begin with. Now, some songs might just be an idea, right? You might just want to lay something down and see how it sounds. But you do not want to get in the habit of sitting down to make music and never finishing any of those songs. Because once you establish that as an actual habit, then that's what you'll do for the remainder of your music career. You'll just continuously sit down and make ideas and never actually finish a song and never even put any of those songs out. Or you can get in the habit of finishing those songs, but then always making new songs and then never putting out the songs that you actually made because you've made so many more new songs that in your head you go on to think, oh, that's not the sound that I make anymore. When you don't realize that your fans love to listen to different types of music. They want to hear your old stuff and hear how you went from where you were then to where you are now. They want to see the growth. They want to go along with you on the journey. And if you don't allow them to do that and you only allow them to meet you where you currently are instead of where you might have been 2-3 years ago, 5 years ago, then you've completely played yourself, because not only are you missing out on additional revenue streams that you could have generated from those songs being out, but you also didn't allow your fans to grow with you. Therefore, the fan base that you have now could be 3 times, 5 times as bigger as it would have been if you would have put the songs out 5 years ago and then continuously put out music between that 5 years and now. And the third best way for you to absolutely ruin your music career is to never market your music. A lot of musicians tend to be shy, is what I've grown to learn. They feel weird or uncomfortable telling people to go listen to their music, which is odd because musicians tend to want to become popular and famous. And how do you expect to be popular and famous if you are scared to talk to people? If you're scared to tell people who you are and what you have to offer? One day I had an epiphany driving home. I got off the freeway and I saw a guy standing on the edge of the freeway selling roses. And I looked at this guy selling roses, and I had seen him there many times before, but that particular day it clicked, because I realized that if I ever needed roses, I knew exactly where to go, because this guy every day made himself available to everyone else, letting them know I have roses. And that's exactly what you need to be doing as a musician. Every day you need to be telling people, I make music, I have this song out, I have this music video out. Even if they're old songs and old videos, it doesn't matter, because if someone's never heard it, it's still new to them. And most of the time, people need to hear something more than once before it even sticks in their head to begin with. Rather it just be something simple about life, or a song or music, people will see it and they'll scroll right past it. And then they'll scroll past it the second time. But eventually, if they see it enough times, they'll take interest and they'll go check it out. And if they see you putting that much energy and effort into it, then they'll start to think, maybe I should give this some consideration since they're putting so much into it. What am I missing out on? What don't I know that they know that I should actually find out? Because they clearly continue to do this, and it must be working because their fan base is growing. They keep doing it. If it wasn't working, why would they continue to do this? So you have to always make sure that you're marketing your music, rather it be paying for ads, paying for playlists, putting out content on social media, or going out in person and telling people about it, or even doing live shows. What's going on, everybody? Jarrell King here, multi-platinum music producer and music business coach. I talk to a lot of aspiring musicians that want to have a full-time career in the music industry, but they just don't know where to get started. They struggle with how to build a fan base and how to start generating income. And if that sounds like you, then I want to invite you to join my 8-week coaching program called The Full-Time Musician, where I'm going to walk you through step-by-step everything that you need to do to put yourself in position to not only be able to work for yourself and make money from your music full-time, but also get attention from record labels, management companies, publishers, investors, and more. So if that's something that you're interested in, click the first link in the description box below and follow all the steps that you need to do to sign up. And you'll even get a preview of all the things that we're going to cover so that you know exactly what it is that you're diving into. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. But if not, I look forward to working with you and helping you reach all of your music career goals and more. I'll see you inside. Number 4 of the top ways that you can absolutely ruin your music career before it ever starts is spending a whole bunch of money on clothes. Not just regular clothes, but I'm talking designer clothes, so you can try to look the part and play the game. Look, there's a level of genuineness that people really appreciate when it comes to being your fans. Fans don't like superficial people. They don't want this bubblegum cliche musician that they're gonna become a diehard fan of. Fans like authentic people, very genuine, authentic, and true to themselves. So if you don't have the money, don't act like you do. Sure, you can fake it till you make it, but then are you really as real as you want people to believe you are? Are you even who you think you are if you're gonna fake being somebody and fake looking a certain kind of way just to fit in with the cool kids? You're better off standing out. When you finally have the money to buy those expensive clothes, those designer clothes, then by all means do so, and your fans will be able to see, oh, I remember when he was wearing these, not expensive clothes, and now he's able to do this. Because then you have a testimony. Then you can testify and show over the time what their support allowed you to be able to do. Now they've contributed to your growth and your success, and now they'll even be that much more of a fan of yours, so that when you do decide to even sell your own merch or do shows like that, they'll buy your merch because you're marketing your merch after not having any merch at all to sell to begin with. That also applies to buying expensive cars and jewelry. All of the things that don't give you any return on your money. All they do is make you look a certain kind of way, and at the end of the day, none of that is going to help you actually build a fan base. All it's going to do is make you look like somebody that you actually aren't, and people don't rock with people who are fake. That's just what it is. So be real, be true to yourself. If you don't have it, that's fine. You can always be fly wearing thrift clothes, making your own clothes, and then selling those clothes to begin with. Because what's the point of spending a whole bunch of money on somebody else's brand when you can spend that same money and design your own brand, and then you can sell your brand to other people, and now you are the influencer, and now everyone's rapping about your clothes instead of you rapping about someone else's clothes who didn't even pay you to promote their clothes and their design. So you're doing this for free. You're telling all these people, oh, I got this car, and I got this jewelry from this jeweler, and I got this shirt from this designer, and you didn't get paid a cent from any of those people to promote their products. How dumb is that? So the fifth best thing that you can do to completely ruin your music career is you can spend a whole lot of money on music videos. Guys, it's 2024. A typical audience has a very short attention span. It's like a goldfish at this point. People aren't watching long form videos the way that they used to. And that's okay, because your true fans, your diehard grassroots fans, they're going to be the ones watching your videos and engaging with your content. But it's going to be a lot easier for you to capture someone's attention and get them to engage with your content by making short form content. That's why TikTok is so big. That's why we have Instagram Reels, and that's why we have YouTube Shorts, because they're all ways for you to create new original content without having to put so much into it, without having to spend all this money and going out and getting this full production crew and this expensive cameras and all of this editing to make a music video. Instead, now you can use your phone or a camera or whatever you want to do, and you can make short form content that's anywhere between 15 seconds and 60 seconds long, and you can make multiple videos. Instead of making one music video, you can make 10 short videos, and then you can market all of those videos across all the platforms, and then you'll see which one of those videos does the best. And if you want to, you can make a full version to that video if that's what you choose to do. Or you could just make 10 new videos for the same song or for a new song. Number 6 on my list of the best things that you can do to successfully ruin your music career is you can date and get in relationships with other musicians. Now, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you decide to get in a relationship with someone else that's in the music industry, you are asking for a headache. Now, it's not to go on to say that you can't successfully do it, but more than likely than not, it's just not going to work out. First, you have yourself. You're focused on launching your career. You're putting your heart and your soul all into your music. You're staying up late at night. You're going out to parties. You're being surrounded by all types of people. And you're really just trying to really do whatever you can do to blow yourself up. You've got goals. You're spending money on studio time. You're trying to do collaborations. You're studying. You're traveling. You're doing all of this stuff, right? But then you're in a relationship that requires its own attention and time. And you're in a relationship with somebody else who's doing all the same things that you're doing. They're putting all their time and attention into their music career. They're traveling. They're reaching out to people trying to get features. They're trying to get management. They're making clothes and selling merch. They're doing all of these different things. And it's ultimately hard for you guys to focus on each other. And you can even end up competing with each other because you want success and they want success, and their success benefits them more than it benefits you, and vice versa. And it's this whole complicated situation, all because you wanted to date someone that you thought you'd have more chemistry with because you two were also a musician and you guys felt that you had that in common, and that was something that you could build a relationship off of. But at the end of the day, as you move up in rank and in success in the music industry, it's not a lot of people. It gets smaller. And the smaller that it gets, the more people you'll realize know each other. And if your relationship tends to not work out, then you're going to, one, continue to run into that person out on the music scene at events and parties and stuff like that. But two, that person is going to potentially be working with other people that you know. And then it can get uncomfortable or awkward because, you're mixing business with pleasure. They might even start telling your business. Maybe you guys didn't end on a good note, and now this person is, gossiping about you to other people that are your peers, telling them personal things about you that you might not want them to know, and vice versa. And on top of that, again, you don't want to deal with someone who might have a history with dealing with other people in the music industry. What if you are working with somebody and you realize that the person that you're in a relationship with used to be in a relationship with the person that you're working with currently, or multiple people? You don't want that to happen. Imagine going to a party or an event or something like that, and you're in the room with 2-3 other people that your current person used to be involved with, and they're there with you. How uncomfortable is that? How awkward is that? You don't want to deal with that. My recommendation is you don't get in a relationship with anyone that has anything to do with music at all. Or at minimum, they can work in the entertainment industry like film or fashion or something along those lines. But ultimately, I would say if you're going to decide to commit to somebody, it may be best for you to commit to someone who has no ties to entertainment whatsoever. They work in a completely different industry, yet they understand what it takes for you to succeed in your industry, and they support and encourage you as much as possible for you to be able to do those things. They're not competing with you. They're not, putting their self to the side for your goals and vice versa. You guys can work cohesively together. You support them in whatever it is that they do, and they support you at pursuing your career as a musician and helping you get there, without holding you back. Another thing that I see people do, another thing people tend to do is go to the studio with their significant other, and that usually just distracts them from focusing on the music that they're making. They're more concerned with making sure that person is okay and comfortable and what they think about the music compared to listening to their coach, their producer, their manager, their engineer, whatever it is, whoever's there to help them make that song the best song that it can be. Instead of following those professional people, they're listening to their significant other. They're distracted. Or maybe they got in a fight and now that is affecting their performance or any of these things. You want to make sure that you're being professional. And they always say don't mix business with pleasure. And this is why it's number 6 on my list. Number 7 on my list of the best things that you can do to successfully ruin your music career before it ever goes anywhere is you can sign a contract too early. And that means you can sign a management contract, sign to a publisher, or sign to a major or independent record label, or even a music library for that case. If you decide to sign a contract early in your career, when you have very little leverage, when you haven't fully established yourself in the industry, when you don't even really know anything about the music business, you don't know the terms, you don't know how it all works, you ultimately are setting yourself up for failure. Because we've seen it time and time again, whether it be labels, managers, or whatever, that they sign these up-and-coming artists, and then ultimately they can't deliver whatever the artist was looking for, or the artist can't deliver whatever the manager or the label or the publisher was looking for. And then there's this bad blood between that artist, but that person will not release this person from their contract. They are still obligated to perform whatever the terms were of that contract, and later that artist might go to become bigger and better and more successful, but they are still somehow contractually bound to that other party, and it is getting in the way of their future business opportunities. I've seen this firsthand with people that I've worked with, where we've had songs that could have been placed on major label artists or in TV shows and films, but the writer involved or the artist involved was already in some type of contract with someone else, and that contract ultimately hindered the entire opportunity, and we either would have to remove that person from the song or the song wasn't able to be used, and we lost out on money because this person was signed to a contract and that contract got in the way. And the reason this tends to happen is because by having all these other people involved contractually, it just complicates the situation. Imagine you want to place a song with an artist or a label, and then they go, all right, yeah, we just want to sign the song, pay you for it, and move on. But you got to go involve your publisher, your manager. There's more paperwork that has to be reviewed. There's more fees that have to be split up. Now, instead of you getting 50% of the song, you got to break up that 50% between your publisher, your label, and your manager, and then the other people on the song, and then the artist that wants to use the song. It's just way too much. It's too complicated. There's too much red tape, and ultimately it's self-sabotaging. So my advice to you is not to sign anything too soon. I know a lot of artists, they think, oh, my career will be in a lot better place and I'll be far more successful and more rich and more famous if I just had a manager, or if I signed to a publisher, or if I signed to a record label. Believe it or not, the majority of the people that I know and I've worked with that are very successful and big musicians that are signed to publishers, managers, and record labels, they've all told me verbatim they do the same amount of work currently to continue to grow their career that they had to do before they ever even had a manager or a publisher or a record deal. You still have to do the work. The best time to sign one of those type of deals is when you have more leverage. And what I mean by leverage is you have more of a say-so over the terms of that situation. If you do decide to work with a manager or a publisher or somebody like that, then I recommend that you negotiate a non-exclusive deal. And that means that you can work with this person, but you're not exclusively obligated to work with this person, or they're not exclusively able to take a commission out of any money that you generate. For example, if this manager comes along and he can get your song placed in a movie and they do so, then that manager be entitled to whatever percentage that you guys agree upon. But if you get your music into some kind of movie or TV show and that manager or label or whatever had nothing to do with it, then you get 100% of whatever money that you're going to earn and generate from that opportunity. That's what it means to have a non-exclusive deal, meaning they only get a percentage of whatever it is that they bring to the table, and you're eligible and able to go work with other people and have this same type of arrangement with them. So that way you're not locked into any type of contractual relationship with any of these people, and now that puts them in a position to actually compete for your business and helping you get to where you want to get to. And whoever is able to get you the most opportunities, then that should be the person you decide to continue to do business with if you do sign some type of exclusive agreement. So those are my 7 things that any artist can start doing today to successfully ruin their music career before it ever even starts. So if you found this video helpful, do me a favor, hit that like button. And if you haven't done so already, consider subscribing to the channel. Also be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I post videos like this weekly, all designed to help up-and-coming musicians with a passion for music turn that passion into a full-time income-generating music business. So that's all I have for you today. Until next time, take it easy and God bless.